Here we go.
All right.
And then once that catches up.
Are we muted?
We're unmuted, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone should be able to hear
Hello,
us.
everyone. It's Candace and Rachel. We have not done this in a while, so we're getting it together.
Oh yeah.
So we are going to be sharing the link on Facebook now, and then hopefully everyone can see it. And if you are not, and if you cannot hear us while I'm talking right now, you cannot hear it, please comment that on Facebook so that we can figure out what's going on.
Hop back on there to see.
All right, the link should be on our Facebook page now. So all you need to do is just click on it and you should be able to view us.
Seems like everything's working.
All right, the link should be on our Facebook page now. So all you need to do is just click on it. Sorry, I was just testing it. We're trying to make sure everything's going to work. Yeah, you should be able to see the link. And it sounds like you can hear us. Hopefully everyone can. So we will be starting. For tonight, basically how we're playing it is if you just comment on the Facebook link, if you just comment on that post to, just say an answer, just if you're joining in, period, just interacting with us, that's going to put you in then to a drawing for a prize. And what we're giving away is 2 tickets to the Exploration Acres. So you can go and enjoy. So like I said, just comment, like the post, just interact with the post at least. And that will then, we'll put your names into a drawing after we get done tonight. And then we will announce, we'll draw from that and we'll announce who the winner is from there. All right, so we are going ahead and just go ahead and start the trivia.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a few different trivia questions. We'll go over kind of the rules first. If you do want to answer one of the questions, just go ahead and type in your answer on the comments. We will do our best to read each of the questions as clearly as possible and twice. Please don't cheat and search up answers on your computer. But if we do, we can't tell. But yeah. But
before we begin, does anyone know what we are or what our theme is? Because she's got the Christmas lights and she's wearing yellow. Her head is shaved. Her head was already shaved.
It's convenient.
But yes, it worked out for this theme. I have this shirt on. I'm covering up half of it with my name tag. And I got this hat. So if you want to,
you can tell what we're
comment and tell us where you think
the characters we are.
Yes, the characters that we are.
Okay. So round 1. In which country did Halloween originate? Halloween's origins, they date back to like just forever ago, about 2,000 years ago. It dates back to an ancient Celtic festival. The Celts who lived about 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the UK and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. And this day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was also often associated with human death. The Celts believe that the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. So on the night of October 1st, they celebrated Halloween, where it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to the earth. So yeah, the answer for that one was Ireland. We will be telling you guys the answers as we go through these questions, and giving you a little bit more background on the answers as well. So yeah, Ireland is actually the country that Halloween originated in, very, very long time ago. Moving on to question number 2. This was pretty interesting because I couldn't even guess this one when you first brought that up to me. But before pumpkins, what vegetable was used to make jack-o'-lanterns? And they actually used turnips and potatoes. I'm sorry. The practice of decorating jack-o'-lanterns did originate in Ireland, where large turnips and potatoes served as early canvases. The name jack-o'-lantern actually comes from an old Irish folktale about a man named Stingy Jack. And Irish immigrants brought the tradition to America, made it, instead of a potato and turnip, turned it into a pumpkin, and it's become like an integral part of Halloween festivities and celebrations and whatnot. So I do want to tell you guys a little bit about the legend of Stingy Jack. People have been making jack-o'-lanterns around Halloween for centuries. The practice originated from an Irish myth, as I said, and according to the story, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin that Jack could use to buy their drinks. Once the devil did so, Jack decided to keep the money and put it in his pocket next to a silver cross, which prevented the devil from changing back into his original form. Jack eventually freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year, and that if Jack should die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack again tried to trick the devil into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. While he was up in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark, so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for another 10 more years. Soon after Jack died, as the legend goes, God would not allow such an unsavory figure into heaven. The devil, upset by the trick Jack had played on him and keeping his word not to claim his soul, would not allow Jack into hell. He sent Jack off into the dark night with only a burning coal to light his way. Jack put the coal into a carved out turnip and has been roaming the earth ever since. The Irish began to refer to this ghostly figure as Jack of the Lantern, and then simply jack-o'-lantern. In Ireland and Scotland, people began to make their own version of Jack's lanterns by carving scary faces into turnips or potatoes and placing them into windows or near doors to frighten away Stingy Jack and other wandering evil spirits. In England, they used large beets, and immigrants from these countries brought their jack-o'-lantern traditions with them when they came to the US. And then they soon found out that pumpkins were a much, much better suited pick for carving. So yeah, I went in and deep dived on that one. I wanted to know everything because I thought it was interesting. I also was trying to think of the logistics of carving a turnip.
Yeah.
Because to me, turnips are like that big. They're really small. So I don't know how you would carve one, but I guess they had larger ones. Okie dokie, we'll move on here.
All right, and it looks like Lauren, you got in. So I'm sorry, I had to run and grab my phone so I can answer you through our messenger for the library. So yeah, hopefully you're getting in. And like I said, this will be up to where you guys can go back and review the questions and everything. But we will slow it a little down.
Sorry.
And we'll give you time to answer. She's very excited about this.
I like
but it's something new and we're kind of enjoying it. And we hope you guys enjoy this too. And and maybe we do this again too.
Yeah, if we can get more people, like enough people interacting and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah. I have some ideas for how to do trivia from here on out. So, you know, comment and definitely say if you want to see something like this again, a live version, or there's a possibility. I was thinking of maybe creating an actual trivia and running it through, like doing like a PowerPoint through YouTube, where you guys can play at home, you know, with your family, your friends, and, you know, you would be able to kind of do your own thing, your own game that way. And so I've been thinking about things like that. But yeah, definitely, you know, be commenting, because we want to see those comments. We definitely want you guys to be enjoying this too, just as much as us. All right, so we are on our next one.
Do this one?
Yeah, sure.
This one, not just
so this question, as you see up here, says, who wrote the novel Frankenstein? So, and we'll give you just a few to go ahead and make your guess.
This one I was always interested by, because I remember learning who wrote it, and I was surprised to learn that it was a woman who wrote it. And for some reason in my brain, I was like, no, ladies don't write scary things. Oh, they do.
It's a very interesting to read her biography too, about her, and kind of get the history and see how far ahead of her time that she really was too. She had an interesting life, and definitely a father. And then her husband that she married too. So it was definitely interesting. So I didn't see anyone that commented and answered anything.
Bit of a delay.
Oh, I seen Lauren made a comment on YouTube. So yes, last name is Shelley. So first name is Mary. So it's Mary Shelley who wrote Frankenstein. And she was 21 years old when she wrote this book. And it's frequently called the world's first science fiction novel. So in Shelley's tale, a scientist animates a creature constructed from dismembered corpses. The gentle, intellectually gifted creature is enormous and physically hideous. And it's kind of interesting to actually look back during that time and kind of see some things that were happening that were kind of grotesque that was being done during that time. But one thing that's interesting, I'm trying to think of the movie that I watched. It was another one that's like, it was Victor Frankenstein. It was on, movie may have been Victor. But they have a portion in there where they show the eyeballs, and they're showing them being animated. And that is something, actually, when I watched a documentary about Mary Shelley, she actually seen that happen during her time. So,
well, that's kind of like
yeah.
When we learned about like the French Revolution, they talk about how people got beheaded, and this one guy did an experiment where he told the guy who was getting beheaded to blink as many times as he could, just to see, like, if you have control, I guess, over your muscles and your head after it's detached from your body. And he could. He blinked it like quite a few times. Yeah. And they were like, oh my God. Oh my God, we're cutting people's heads off, and they're aware.
All right, so we'll move on to the next question. So this is, what is the original name for what we now call candy corn?
Another one that tripped me up a little bit. I'd never heard this before. And I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't know, it threw me off. But it's the original name that it was given by the confectionery company who first produced it. And the logo actually had a rooster on it and a tagline that read, "Something worth crowing for." According to oral tradition, the candy maker in Philadelphia, invented the revolutionary tricolor candy in the 1880s. They brought the candy to the masses at the turn of the 20th century, and that company is now called the Jelly Belly Candy Co. So Jelly Belly. They have the longest history in the industry of making candy corn. Although the method has changed, they still do use their original recipe. And they have made a candy corn flavored jelly bean as well. I don't like candy corn. The texture is wrong.
I like the pumpkins.
Oh, I forgot they made little pumpkins like that.
Yeah, there's little pumpkins.
But
I like the pumpkins.
Isn't the flavor just like sugar?
Yeah.
But like it's chalky sugar. I don't like it.
I mean, I don't go crazy with it, but I do like it every so often. During Halloween, at least. It just seems like it's traditional, I guess you want to say.
Oh, yeah.
So
do you want to say what it was called?
It's yeah, the answer, if anybody, I don't know if I don't see a guess that's been made on it. Chicken feed.
Yep. Which, like, when you hear it, you're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
that's weird.
but I guess, I mean,
it's called candy corn. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there might have been some confused farmers at some point. Okie dokie. I think nope, we got one more question and then we review the answers just to make sure if you guys missed anything, we go back over all the answers one more time. So the final question, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it because I know I'm going to not pronounce it correctly. But it's a type of phobia. If you're good at breaking down words, then it's
I don't know if I want to try it. Yeah, I can't.
Well, it's well, I don't think you're saying it correctly because I think it's pronounced Samhain. I think, despite it having not the letters that I pronounced.
That's bad. We're in a library.
Yeah. Hey, but in my defense,
it happens. Not everyone can,
the words are hard sometimes. It's okay. It's been a long day.
All right.
What's she saying?
She's talking about the candy corn.
Oh, yeah. I saw an LOL.
Yeah.
So this one is actually a phobia of Halloween. Yeah, it's just a fear of Halloween. I don't know. I mean, I get the objectively being afraid of Halloween because it's spooky, but no, I just didn't put in anything extra for this question. It's fairly self-explanatory.
Okay.
It's
okay. All right.
I know. I also
sorry. I'll make sure I'm in the correct area.
Yeah, I believe the original name in Ireland, how they would originally pronounce it, the festival that they would hold, that became Halloween. I believe it's pronounced Samhain, despite it being spelled Samhain. That was the pronunciation that I found on the internet. Yeah. So I trust the internet.
Maybe.
But we'll go ahead and reveal all the questions one more time and answer. So Halloween originated in Ireland. They originally used to carve turnips or potatoes. I also found potatoes as a common answer for that as well. Turnips was always the first thing that came up, but there are records of people carving out potatoes, which I think I want to do that. Carve a potato. Mary Shelley did write Frankenstein. Candy corn was originally called chicken feed. And then our last unpronounceable word was the fear of Halloween. So we'll go ahead and move on to round 2. And the first question, what US state produces the most pumpkins? You'd think
I was surprised by this.
Yeah, because you'd think it'd be a little bit more of a rural state, but I don't know.
Just so you're aware, Indiana is number 4.
Yes, yeah, we're
on the
up
top
there.
List of 10 states.
Yes, we're just sadly not number 1. Yeah. But I heard that there was supposedly some sort of pumpkin shortage this year, and so farmers were talking about how it was difficult to get pumpkins and grow them. I saw some sort of, like, they were talking about how pumpkins are going to be more expensive. I didn't have any trouble finding or purchasing pumpkins, but
I didn't get pumpkin this year.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd go out. I've gone out on Halloween to get a pumpkin. Should we wait a little bit longer before revealing?
Let me see. Got.
Has anybody commented on Facebook?
I have not saw anyone on the Facebook one. I don't know if I need to refresh it. See if that helps. No, I don't see anything. So yes, it's Illinois.
Yep, it's Illinois.
Yep. Believe it or not, there is a pumpkin capital in Illinois. It's Morton, Illinois. They produce 85% of the world's canned pumpkin.
That's insane. the world's that's a lot for a little town.
There is 1.5 billion pounds of pumpkins that are produced in the US.
There's over 15,000 farms that grow pumpkins in the US. And I love pumpkins.
Yeah.
I love pumpkins. My whole kitchen is pumpkin thing. Okie dokie.
All right, we'll move on to the next.
Roll on over into the next one.
This
one was debated. What's the most popular Halloween candy in America? In America was the big asterisk there, because I'm sure it's different in other countries. And I've seen like have you seen the map of like each state's different favorite Halloween candy?
No.
It's really interesting. I'm trying to think of
the one I definitely see. So there's two answers.
Yeah, because I couldn't find a solid answer.
The one for sure, yes. I definitely can see that one. I mean, it's my favorite. So yeah. Both of those are my favorites.
Actually. I wouldn't eat either one of them when I was a child.
Yeah.
One of them no. I like plain chocolate because I'm the worst. and well, the other one kind of, I don't know. I thought they were like weird M&Ms and I wouldn't eat them. I was just a really picky child. I eat them now, so it's okay.
All right. So the answer is Skittles or Reese's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of debate online whether it was Skittles or Reese's. I saw Reese's come up a lot, but I think newer trends have shown Skittles. I think that both of them are probably people's favorites, being that they're so different.
Yeah, so Skittles and Reese's takes the top two spots that are most popular, but then of course you have M&M's, Snickers, and Starburst that are follow closely behind.
Yes.
So M&M's, I'm surprised it's not the top though.
Well, they're just plain chocolate.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah. But I wasn't surprised by Reese's. Reese's is my favorite. So.
Oh yeah, and when I used to go trick-or-treating as a child, I didn't like Reese's, so my friends would like fight over who got to get all my Reese's because I'd give them all away. I didn't want them, and so like my best friend was like, "No, I get them all." I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. You have to give me all your Kit Kats then.
Yeah, and Lauren says those are her favorite too. So
the Reese's cups, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Now I like the Reese's Pieces too.
See, I think I accidentally had a bowl of like the Reese's Pieces cereal or whatever when I was a child, thinking that it was like Cocoa Puffs. Never, nope. I just don't like it.
Now, Reese's
Can't explain it.
Pieces was used during E.T., right?
Yes, in the book though they used M&Ms.
Yes,
but I think there was a licensing thing with that.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember the reasoning why, but they switched it in the two.
Yep, in the book it's M&Ms, but in the movie,
which actually after the movie that made Reese's pretty popular.
After
that, so,
oh yeah, big time. Yeah. Okie dokie. Which famous magician tragically died on Halloween? And he didn't even die from performing a trick. Surprisingly, like you'd think with if you recognize the photo, you'll know who it is, but his death didn't result from from a trick gone wrong. It was actually like way more tragic. The story goes, as I found online, he was at a college campus bragging about the amount of like hits he could take to the stomach. And this one kid was like, all right, and punched him in the stomach. And it didn't give this magician had no time to prepare to get sucker punched as hard as this college kid could punch him. And if I'm remembering correctly, let me see, what did it, was it his appendix burst? There it is. His appendix burst. And he was scheduled to perform another show the next day. And he got sick on the way there. And so they ended up hospitalizing him right before a show. And he passed away. And it's like, with all of if you're aware of who the magician is, we'll tell you, the tricks he did were insane.
Yeah.
Lock himself up in a box, throw himself in the ocean or something, like crazy. Yeah. You'd think that would be the way he'd go out, not getting punched in the stomach.
Yeah. But where he punched him, of course.
Well, yeah, and
that damage. So,
he had explained that he didn't have any time to prepare his stomach muscles.
Well, and then
either.
Then I'm not sure. That was 1926. So yeah, that toxin was getting in his system, and they probably didn't get him there in time enough. And yeah, then and then too, during the period of time that it was, I don't know how much of that they knew about to actually
medical history is really wonky when you're not looking at modern medical history. It's a little bit scary. They were sort of just guessing for a really long time, but it's gotten a whole lot better. But the magician, if you have not already guessed, is Harry Houdini.
Yes, Lauren got it right.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite. He's the best. I did a presentation on him when I was in elementary school. I was obsessed. So for the next one, what year will have the next Halloween with a full moon? So we just had one, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't realize we just had one. But it only comes around every like 18 to 19 years. And I'm sad I missed it. I'm just sad. I wish I saw it. That would be cool. But yeah, as I said, it only comes around every 18 to 19 years. And the last time we had it is sadly last year in 2020. So we will not have another one until 2039. I'll be in my 40s. But I'm going to mark the calendar.
So you need to just guess the next year that it'll happen. If you want to put it down.
Alrighty.
I think we have only Lauren playing.
It's okay.
It's yeah.
I love how much interaction we're getting.
Lauren and her husband were playing when we used to be virtual.
Oh,
we used to, during COVID. So yeah. So we had them a lot on there.
Alrighty,
it's hard to tell if there's anybody else. So
well, we might
get people to rewatch it and everything. So
Alrighty.
All right.
Move on to the next. What was the first wrapped penny candy in America? This is my favorite, one of my favorite candies.
Did we tell the answers to that?
The last one? Yes, 2039.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you caught it.
Maybe I didn't catch it. That's sad.
I think I said it and it just like went.
It must.
But first wrapped penny candy. I wish candy was still a penny. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
The penny candy stores. I think when I was a kid, we went to, I don't remember where we went. My mom traveled with me so much when I was a kid, but we went into a store. I want to say it was in Savannah, Georgia, because they have like this street in Savannah where it's all cobblestone, and they try to make it seem like you're like not in the time period we're actually in. And there was a penny candy store. There were a bunch of candy stores. But yeah,
I like the ones where you just go and there's all kinds of varieties of different candies, and especially older ones too that you don't see all the time. So
they've started, I think maybe it's not, there's a candy that they changed the packaging of. And when we were putting together the bags for Trunk or Treat, I was like, they changed it. I think it was Laffy Taffy. That or Jolly Ranchers, one of the two. They made it into like a chewy candy instead of a hard candy. And I think Tammy was telling me, no, that's how they used to be. I was like, what? I missed it. They changed it when I was a kid.
Okay, her husband Dustin says Tootsie Rolls, and she says those weird strawberry candies that just magically appear, but no one knows where.
Are you
they
talking
come
about the
from.
now and laters? I think she's talking about now and laters.
Oh,
Because those are weird. They're like
strawberry
knockoff
candies.
Starbursts.
No, I think she's talking about, is it like in a wrapper that strawberries basically outside coloring and all that?
Oh my God, I know
wonder
what
if
you're
that's what she
talking
means.
about. The one
Yeah.
that looks like the wrapper looks
Yeah,
like
like a strawberry.
That's
I think
that's
that's what she's talking about.
no,
I don't know.
but it is Tootsie Rolls. He was correct.
Yeah.
It is in fact Tootsie Rolls. Those are my favorite candy. They're like just the right kind of chocolate where it's like I'm always in the mood for them. I have like a handful in my bag at all times and eat them while I'm here back at my desk. But yeah, it was Tootsie Rolls. And I want to say the next slide will be going over the last 5 answers. Yeah. So again, the state that produced the most pumpkins in the US is in fact Illinois. The most popular Halloween candy, tie between Skittles and Reese's. I saw an even amount of both on the internet. Famous magician who tragically died on Halloween was Harry Houdini. 2039 will be the next year we have a full moon on Halloween, and Tootsie Rolls were in fact the first wrapped penny candy in America. All right, and then we are moving on to our third and final round.
All right.
This one was funny. Do you want to read it?
All right. In what state is it illegal to dress up as a nun or a priest on Halloween?
This kind of stuff, when I learn this, makes me want to test it. Like, am I really gonna get jailed? Yeah, according to the code in this state, whoever being in a public place fraudulently pretends by garb or outward array to be a minister of any religion or nun, priest, rabbi, or any other member of the clergy is guilty of a misdemeanor. Breaking the law could earn you a $500 fine and up to a year in jail. Along having some other odd laws on the books, they were also the first state to declare Christmas as a legal holiday in 1836. They're the only state to have an alcoholic beverage as their official state drink. Bear wrestling in this state is also a Class B felony. And in fact, the legal code has an entire section that outlines different forms of unlawful bear exploitation.
You think this is all still accurate? It's still.
Oh yeah, Chicago. When I was living there, we used to joke about all the time that there was a law on the books about how you couldn't go fishing on a giraffe in like Michigan. Like there had to be some
weird.
Crazy man that went fishing on a giraffe, and they were like, let's do it again. Better make it a law.
All right, I didn't see a guess yet. Lauren says, no, the wrapper is literally a strawberry. I'm still thinking it's that one, but I might have to look it up and actually
I feel like she's in the right direction, but not quite. Think like a little more southern. No, okay. I'm trying to think of where this state is. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, it is.
Yes. I'm trying to think of other ways to reveal what it is.
It's next to.
Oh, don't ask me. I hardcore failed geography and all that.
Do they have bears there?
Apparently they must have a lot of bears because there's a lot of laws about not being able to mistreat bears, which I'm all for. I like bears, but who was messing around with bears that much?
All right. So our answer, or what we have down, is Alabama.
Yep. Cannot dress up as a nun or a priest or a rabbi or anything else, or else they will take your money and yell at you.
All right. So this question is, what popular fall festival activity did the Romans bring to Britain when they invaded?
Yeah, and that was the origin story that I could find. Was that it dated back to Roman times when they invaded Britain. and the conquering army merged their own celebrations with the traditional Celtic festivals. So once we'll wait a little bit to
Yes.
see. I mean,
we'll give people a little bit.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is a delay. So you know, so when we're looking at kind of where your guess, what you're saying, we kind of have a delay on
It's
our
a
end.
yeah, it's like a
So
minute.
yeah.
But yeah, this one was interesting. The backstory to the activity I thought was really, really cute. But I heard a lot of different variations to the backstory. So you let me know when I can reveal.
Well, we can go ahead. Because I mean, even if you're commenting and of course we want you to have fun with this and give your guesses too. But everyone will be entered into, you know, a drawing. So and that's during this live presentation. It's not going to be the recording afterwards and everything. So yeah. So. Oh, did you send a link through, Lauren? Because I don't see a link here. I don't know. Well, if you want to post that on Facebook to that the link, then we'll see it there. Because I don't know if YouTube won't put that in or what. I don't see a link that you added. I don't know.
All right.
All right, we can go ahead.
So the answer to this one, the popular fall festival activity, was apple bobbing. Despite its presence at Halloween parties and festivals today, its origins are more rooted in love and romance than tricks and treats. It began as a British courting ritual popular among young ladies and their potential beaux or booze. I hate it when they spell it like that.
Right. Yeah.
Right here. It's booze, but it's
Oh no, bows. It's bow.
Is it bow?
It's bow.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Well, there were several variations of the game. In one set of rules, each apple was assigned to a potential mate. The bobber would then attempt to bite into the apple of the name of the young man that she desired. If it only took her one try, they were destined for romance. If she succeeded with her second attempt, he would court her, but their love would fade. And if it took 3 tries, the relationship was doomed. Another approach to the game was a race to be the first to bite an apple, and then the first to emerge successful would be the first to marry. A related superstition suggested that if a girl put the apple she had bitten underneath her pillow, she would see her future soulmate in her dreams that night. So I love like weird stuff like that, what people used to think and all that fun stuff.
Oh, she shared the link. So, and that's what I thought it was. I thought it was just candies. Yeah. So
we were right.
We were thinking,
yeah,
same
we're on
thing.
the same page.
Yeah.
Move on
All
to
right.
next. What item is banned in Hollywood, California on Halloween? I found this one really interesting, but also not super surprising.
Yeah, because that stuff is messy.
Well, it's messy and it's very, very, like, I don't think it ever goes back into the earth. I think it's just like plastic.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. From my experiences going to California, they're very, at least some of the things that they've implemented, like you can't, you have to pay for all your plastic bags and stuff like that. So I'm not uber surprised, but I guarantee you it was because there was some sort of major issue related to people having this and making a giant mess, considering how many people live in Hollywood.
Well, it does make a mess. So I don't know if people still use it though. I mean, I don't see it. Maybe I just don't see where they're using it. But yeah, I don't see a lot of people still use it though.
I mean, if I had children, I wouldn't willingly give them this. But I'm sure it hasn't gone away.
So Lauren got it right. It's silly string.
Yeah, it is silly string. Yeah. But yeah, an ordinance passed in 2004 cites safety and environmental concerns as part of the reasoning to prevent people from using silly string between 12 a.m. on October 31st and 12 p.m. on November 1st. It can also come with $1,000 fine, and of course, the silly string is going to be taken away. The ordinance also includes anyone who is not only caught with silly string, but also caught selling the stuff during the respective ban times. And the ordinance seems to be more of a measure to negate pollution and trash left behind from Halloween celebrations. So yeah, it's it's a messy and a thing that's not great for the planet.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're getting towards
We're almost to the
end.
end. What was the first horror movie nominated for an Academy Award? It did get nominated for around 10 different categories or awards, but it only won in the categories of sound mixing and adapted screenplay. And the writer said that it was a disgrace that more major awards didn't go to the film, because he felt his movie was head and shoulders the finest film made this year and in many other years. And perhaps with current horror movies becoming more commonly nominated, we'll see. But there's been,
and this is a classic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, definitely think of those classic Halloween films.
Oh yeah.
And you should be able to guess this one.
I was kind of surprised. When did it come out? I can't remember.
I'd have to look it up.
I feel like it was probably the 80s and 90s. But let's see, give it a couple minutes.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find when it came out. 1973.
Oh, earlier, the 70s. Huh.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Psycho.
That's a good one. You know what I did learn recently? Netflix has this really cool show called Films That Made Us, or Movies That Made Us, or something like that. And they have a second season where they talk about Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th. And they talk about how in Halloween they had Jamie Lee Curtis as the lead female, and her mom was in Psycho.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And when I learned that, I was like, what? That's so mean. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis is a great actress, but I guess from like with my age, like I grew up watching her in like Activia commercials and like Freaky Friday. Not at all associating her with anything horror related. But the first movie to be nominated was actually.
Oh, your second guess is correct.
Yeah, The Exorcist.
Yeah. I would say I only watched that once.
I've only seen
and I don't think I've really have. It's a great movie. I just don't know if I want to mention it again myself because it was kind of creepy.
I want to say that I heard some odd fun facts about The Exorcist, and the filming like didn't go very well or something, or weird stuff happened on set. Something to that degree, but I can't remember for sure. I should have looked more into that. But our final question may seem like a bit of a trick question, but it's not, I promise. Please don't say Tim Burton. He was definitely a part of it, huge part of it, but he wasn't the director technically. It is based on a poem or short story. It was a poem or short story that he wrote. I watched another episode of that Netflix show, Nightmare Before Christmas. I learned so much. He was working at Disney, and he came up with the idea for Nightmare like years before they made it. And Disney owned the rights to it. And then he went on to do some other films, Tim Burton, and he ended up making the Batman movies. And while they were making the Batman movies, he was like, hey, Disney, can I like get my intellectual property back and do something with it? And so he ended up teaming up with the guy who actually directed it and a few other film people. Film industry, everybody knows everybody, apparently. And it was one of the Nightmare, I think, was one of the first movies to do stop motion, where they, it's a picture and that's how they do everything. But yeah, it was interesting. But the the guy who actually did direct it directed a lot of other stop motion stuff. Like I believe he did James and the Giant Peach.
Yep. And it looks
Yeah.
like Lauren got it right.
Yes. Nightmare. It's a great film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Henry Selick. He was the
Well,
actual
and
director.
looks like he's known for James and the Giant Peach.
Yep.
And then Coraline.
Yeah.
Your
I love
favorites.
Coraline. Coraline's one of my absolute favorite movies because Neil Gaiman. But yeah, it was Henry Selick. A lot of people jump to what they think Tim Burton, but it's just based off of his. He was directing in one of the Batman movies. Like they were like up here in Northern California, and he was like down here in Southern California, and he was like traveling back and forth to like meet with the Nightmare crew, and then also go back and do Batman. I believe that's the only reason he didn't actually direct it, is because he was doing Batman. Yeah, that's why I had Henry Selick do it. But Henry Selick, I believe, if I'm remembering, he also worked with Tim Burton at Disney. They were both at Disney together.
Yeah. But I would have guessed Tim Burton just because
most people do, because it's in the title.
Because it's connected.
But it's his he made up all the characters and everything.
Yeah.
Like he did a bunch of drawings for the characters and whatnot. But Disney at the time when he pitched it were like, no, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up, can I give one fun fact about Nightmare?
Yeah.
One more fun fact, because I just remembered this. The first scene that they actually filmed was the Christmas scene. What's this? The scene where Jack goes to the Christmas town, and they showed that to Disney, and everybody was kind of like, oh, good, this is good that we're showing them this, because if we show them the scary Halloween stuff first, it might freak them out and they might pull away from the projects. At the time, Disney was it didn't do as much creepy stuff. It did a lot more just very family friendly. But yeah, they showed them the Christmas scene first, and they shot that first.
So I hope you enjoyed this evening with us. We had fun.
Yes,
it was an interesting trivia, and so if you want to see something more along this lines again, please, make sure that you comment that, so that we can, because we definitely want to be doing these things that people are going to interact in. They're going to have fun. Games that you do at home, so you don't have to go out, and just things that you do, just have family time, basically. Because we tend to make this, it's very family friendly on our questions that we do. Yeah, we do our best to find those. So yeah, like I said, I definitely will want you to comment and say you want to see more of these things. And definitely the video on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel too, because we are trying to have more videos on there, more book reviews.
Yeah, we have some book reviews that we'll be putting up soon.
Yeah. Cooking.
Yes. We'll have some more cooking videos and whatnot coming very soon.
Yeah. So definitely follow us, and then follow our Facebook page too, because we have a lot of stuff there that we post.
That stays pretty current.
Yeah, we always have our events on there posted, what's coming up. So make sure to go on there and check it out. You can go to our website. We have our calendar that's on there listed, so you can see kind of what we have planned for the rest of this year too. So we had fun. So thanks for joining us. Guys, have a good night.